today we are hearing and we're getting information about Fiifi Kwetey saying that the National Democratic Congress will now, since he's become General Secretary, will have results, and they will have collated results to be able to show it. And then I'm going to say something about President Mahama tonight, about this whole matter. This whole Aseidu Nketiah says that we didn't have results and we went to court, and the media has been discussing it and including President Mahama in the matter. I'm going to make a suggestion tonight that I feel that perhaps President Mahama was not aware of it. I mean, I know him a little bit. I believe that he was not aware that they didn't have the results. I believe that they hoodwinked him, that they had some results. I believe they did, because they needed somebody to fund the whole election petition process, and President Mahama was going to be the chief financier in that regard. So they needed to convince President Mahama that they had something. So I'm not too sure whether President Mahama is to be thought of as part of the conspiracy that embarrassed Johnson Aseidu Nketiah, for which reason people are calling him out right now. And I'll show you an article by Joy News where the National Media Commission boss, Aseidu Nketiah, former editor of the Graphic, is telling the Parliamentary Commission that Johnson Aseidu Nketiah cannot be a member of the Parliamentary Service Board because of what he's done. This is Aseidu Nketiah. This is not the NPP's General Secretary. It's not the NPP's Chairman. It's not an NPP Member of Parliament. It's Aseidu Nketiah, the Chairman of the National Media Commission, former editor of the Graphic. You see, I made the point the other day about electing radicals who are not able to convince anybody. Aseidu Nketiah right now believes that he's not a member of the NDC. If the NDC wants Aseidu Nketiah to be their chairman, he has no qualms about it. But he's saying that for a national body like the Parliamentary Services Board, Johnson Aseidu Nketiah, for the kinds of things he said, he cannot be a member of the Parliamentary Service Board. That's Aseidu Nketiah. I'll show you that as well. But now, to refresh your memory, here's Aseidu Nketiah in the court.
From your own calculations, what were the valid votes cast in favor of the petitioner, to your knowledge? My Lord, one will discover this discrepancy. It was difficult to even know. So you don't know. You just answer. You don't know. I don't have them there. Okay. Then the last one. What figures from your own calculations did the second respondent get as the total valid votes cast in his favor? My Lord, I don't have those figures here. Thank you. That's what.
Okay, so that's Johnson Aseidu Nketiah, who said he doesn't have it. And then later he is recorded in his campaign to be chairman, says that the NDC didn't have anything. He said they didn't have any results. And people are calling him out now. Opposition is asking him to apologize to the court. It was based on this matter that President Mahama said that there was unanimous FC. I'll get you that video as well. And then I'll say something about President Mahama at the end of this conversation. But let's get, so our key protagonist here is President John Dramani Mahama, the presumptive nominee for the National Democratic Congress's presidential slot for 2024. Johnson Aseidu Nketiah, the elected chairman of the National Democratic Congress, former General Secretary. Fiifi Kwetey, former Minister of Agriculture, and also former Deputy Minister of Finance and Economic Planning, but now, and former Propaganda Secretary of the NDC, but now the General Secretary of the party. These are three protagonists for the rest of the story. Okay, let's get Fiifi Kwetey's speech right now. Fiifi Kwetey said something on CTFM, and I'm going to read it to you. And it has to do with confirming that, in fact, the NDC did not have the results, and therefore, they really shouldn't have gone to court. Now, here it is. Okay. This Fiifi Kwetey is speaking on City TV. He said, in 2008, we were able to collate our results. Now, I wish that you can put that on TV so viewers can read with me. I don't know why they don't like doing that these days. Yeah, correct. Okay. In 2008, we were able to collate our results very early, and therefore, we were able to establish beyond doubt that we had won the parliamentary, which of course we won in 2020, he added. Assuring the NDC of his commitment to supervising an effective coalition machinery in 2024, Fiifi Kwetey stated that those times that the party struggled to collate its results efficiently will be a thing of the past. In the next slide, it is reported that speaking on CTTV, Fiifi Kwetey observed that the NDC could not collate its results in 2020 and reiterated that under his tenure as CEO of the party, such a thing will not happen. Now, can you imagine that? This is the General Secretary. This Secretary of the National Democratic Congress saying that in the last few elections that we didn't do too well, our main problem was that we simply failed to collate our own results. In 2020, that was a massive issue. We simply could not do that, he said. Now, this is Fiifi Kwetey coming to confirm what Aseidu Nketiah said on the tape. Now, so Fiifi Kwetey is a general secretary of the party. Now, he says that in 2020, they were not able to collate the results. He said, we could not collate, NDC could not collate its results in 2020. What shall we do with Aseidu Nketiah then? Should he be cited for perjury and contempt of the court because he lied under oath? And he still claims that he didn't lie under oath, that he went to the court and told the court that he didn't have results. He didn't tell the court that. He said he didn't bring it. He didn't say we don't have it. He said it's not here. That's what he told the court. The court asked him that, do you have your results? He said, I didn't bring it. And at that time, people were chastising him that, you are going to court. The most important thing, you didn't bring it. So it wasn't that he didn't bring it. He actually lied. He didn't have it. He didn't have it. Nobody had it. And he was complaining and blaming Ofosu Ampofo for it. Okay, let's assume that that is still his word against Ofosu Ampofo's word. Now Fiifi Kwetey comes to confirm. He says in 2020, he says, speaking on CTTV, Fiifi Kwetey observed that the NDC could not collate its results in 2020 and reiterated that under his tenure as CEO of the party, such a thing will not happen. He goes on to say that, and his quotation begins, in the last few days, the last few elections that we didn't do too well, our main problem was that we simply failed to collate our own results. In 2020, that was a massive issue. Fiifi Kwetey says they failed to collate their own results. Is it now time for Aseidu Nketiah to say something to the court? Is it now time for President Mahama to review his unanimous FC speech? For me, as a political news reporter, this is very critical because you see, the difference between Ghana and the other West African countries over the last 20 years is being the sanctity and the sacrosanct outcome of our elections and the acceptability of the election results. That's what threw Cote d'Ivoire into civil war. That's what threw Liberia into civil war. Now, I was in Cote d'Ivoire, and some of you already know. I interviewed President Gbagbo when he was hiding in his bunker in the heat of the 2011 crisis. And the fundamental issue about the Ivorian situation was that he, President Gbagbo, and Alhassan Ouattara, as he then was candidate of the opposition, both of them could not agree on the sanctity of the declaration of the election results. So guess what happened in Cote d'Ivoire? The Electoral Commission declared the results in favor of Laurent Gbagbo. And then the United Nations Coalition Center in Abidjan declared the results in favor of Alassane Ouattara. That's what happened, and that threw Ivory Coast into a civil war. In Liberia, it was widely believed that Samuel Doe had been defeated in the election and that he had metamorphosed it and he had become president in an election that he didn't win. That's what set up the rebels leader, Charles Taylor, the MPFL, to start their rebel activity from Cote d'Ivoire into Abidjan. That cost a lot of death. A lot of our soldiers. I grew up in Burma camp. I know soldiers who went on Gambat 1 in Ekomok who didn't come back. They were my friends' fathers. They went in Gambat 1. They didn't come back. So when I became a reporter, I focused on elections. And in 2000 elections, I was all over in the place. Both NDC and NPP will tell you. I was around ballot boxes, and sometimes my editor would tell me that your job is not the ballot box, just report. And I said, no, they are putting things in the ballot box. I need to stop it. And I personally carried the ballot box from Palm Wine Junction to Laboni Secondary School in the company of police officers because they didn't have a car. So my news reporter's car, branded with media, everything, is what carried one of the ballot boxes, two, I think, of the ballot boxes from Palm Wine Junction through Labadi Wireless to Laboni Secondary School, the counting center. Because I noticed that some people wanted that ballot box to be left at Palm Wine Junction when the team goes so they can do their stuff. I said, no, I'm taking it. Police, you are going with me with this ballot box over there. That's my own personal thing. But that's because I recognize what elections can do. So I'm very concerned about these kinds of conduct where you have failed to collate your results. Now, the reason why we use the word failed is that the resources had been provided to all political parties by the taxpayer for the collation of the results. So taxpayer has paid because the Electoral Commission goes to Parliament with a budget and Parliament approves that budget. So Electoral Commission's budget has all the itemized bill, including distribution of pink sheets to political parties who are at present. So those pink sheets that the Electoral Commission hands over to political parties is paid for by the taxpayer. Every political party is expected to receive the same thing. All political parties can collate their results. So the Supreme Court asked Aseidu Nketiah, didn't you have people? They said, we did. He said, okay, so where are your results? He said, my lord, I didn't bring it. He was lying. Fiifi Kwetey says, in 2000, in 2020, Fiifi Kwetey said that the NDC could not collate its result in 2020 and reiterated that under his tenure as CEO of the party, such a thing will not happen. Okay, producer, please get me back the speech you gave me, President Mahama's speech of unanimous FC. I'll come to it in a bit. But now give me Aseidu Nketiah for National Media Commission. Please put it there and then let's deal with it. Let's deal with it. So we see the seriousness of this matter. Until Johnson Aseidu Nketiah, the chairman of the NDC, says something about this, it will be hanging over him for a very long time. And as we approach elections, the NDC will have to continue promising that they will be able to collate results. Because without that, you have, I mean, this is so irresponsible, isn't it? You have your supporters who queue to come and elect President Mahama. They vote. You don't tabulate their vote. Taxpayer has paid for you to receive it. You don't receive it. You sleep on it. You are asleep as a general secretary. Then you come to court and come and misbehave. And then you go and say that the Supreme Court has cheated me. I mean, really? I can understand how some Ghanaians are completely outraged about this Aseidu Nketiah matter. And some of them are not MPP people. They don't even care about MPP. But they think that this is wrong for the country. And that is why Aseidu Nketiah is saying what he's saying. He's the chairman of National Media Commission. Let's see what he says. It's here. I'll read it. Put it on the screen. So, Aseidu Nketiah says, if somebody holding political office cannot be a member of a commission, how can somebody leading a political party advise the speaker, which is supposed to demonstrate objectively and neutrality on the highest sense? Ayeboafo said while speaking at an event. Aseidu Nketiah has served on the board since 2021 after his appointment alongside former New Patriotic Party MPP member Abraham Aseidu as Speaker of Parliament's nominees to the parliamentary board. Let's see the next page. Okay. The majority leader Osei Mensah Bonsu, the minority leader Haruna Idrisu, and the clerk of parliament Cyril Insia are the members with the speaker's chair. However, after beating Samuel Ofusu-Ampofo to become national chairman of the NDC, Ayeboafo said the time has come for Johnson Aseidu Nketiah to step down the Parliamentary Services Commission. Okay, let me know when you get the video. So this is the story. Let me have back the photographs of the three men over there. Let me have the photographs of the three men. Yes, Fiifi Kwetey, Johnson Aseidu Nketiah, and President Mahama. I'm going to say something about President Mahama. Before then, though, let's show President Mahama's video where he was talking about unanimous FC. Let's see it.
Recently, so badly has the image of our judiciary deteriorated that many of our citizenry openly make mockery of our justice system and of our justices. The phrase, go to court, is these days met with derisive laughter instead of hope that one will truly get justice if he went to the courts. If people are not poking fun about politics and inducements being used to sway the hand of justice in the lower courts, then it is poking fun and making statements about the 7-0 of the unanimous FC. One of the scariest existential threats to any democracy is when citizens think their judiciary holds no value for them.
Okay, so that was President Mahama speaking. Now, this is my point. I believe that President Mahama was not told the truth. I sincerely believe that. Now, I don't know whether you have a photograph of Aseidu Nketiah alone. You can put him on. I need to talk about him because I'm guessing that Johnson Aseidu Nketiah, the chairman of the party, at the time General Secretary, as he then was, created an impression for President Mahama that they actually had something. I sincerely believe that President Mahama, given all his political background, will not be aware that the NDC had nothing and will throw himself in it in that manner. Up to the time that he read this speech, which was about a year after the election petition. Was it a year? No, maybe a few months after the election petition. Up to the time that he read that speech. Because this speech is read in 2022. Election petition ended in January 2023. So more than a year, actually, of the election petition, President Mahama speaks that way. Because President Mahama is not told the truth. He hasn't been told the truth. President Mahama may now be learning the truth the same way we are learning it. Because President Mahama is a very decent politician. Those who have known him from parliament know the kinds of things he does. Yes, he's a clever politician, he's a vote winner and all of that, but he has a certain sense of, fairness when it comes to election results. And that's why his concession in 2016 was so quickly done. But in 2020, he was told by Aseidu Nketiah that he, President Mahama, had actually won the election and that the election had been stolen from him. Aseidu Nketiah said these things to President Mahama when he was aware that they don't have the results to be able to make that conclusion. They didn't have it. It's not that they had it, or it's not that they won or they lost, but the most ridiculous of it, the dereliction of duty, is that Aseidu Nketiah did not have any results to be able to say that they are right or he didn't have it. So when they went to Mr. Chikata, you heard what he said. Mr. Chikata said, hey, this is your thing. It won't go anywhere. Let me go to court and do the lawyer's work. This one, you don't have any work. You don't have any evidence. Then Rojo Metilunu came. That's why Rojo Metilunu was talking about biscuits. Because he didn't have anything to say. That's why he was talking. I was in the room. I left my key. I said, I'm going to President Mahama's house. I came back. They had locked the door. I didn't find my laptop. And they declared results. That kind of talk, that's kindergarten kind of talk. You will do kindergarten talk even if you are as clever as Rojo is. And Rojo is very clever. I know him. Rojo is very clever. But clever Rojo was reduced to kindergarten talk because of Aseidu Nketiah's lies. That's what it is. His poor representation to his president, his candidate, President Mahama, and his poor representation to his party, after which he blames Ofusampo for 2 years down the line. That they didn't have results for that reason. So I want to make that point very strong, that knowing what I know about President Mahama, I believe that Aseidu Nketiah had told him, misrepresented the matter to him, told President Mahama that you don't have to concede, you have won the election. Well, let's go to court, knowing that there was nothing to go to court. Now, why would he do that? Because he needed funding. I'm guessing. He needed funding because somebody must fund the election petition process. So President Mahama will be able to do that because about him. He is the flag bearer, and if the election petition goes the other way, President Mahama will be the president. He will be the winner of the election petition, and the Supreme Court might hold that in the alternative, President Mahama should be declared the winner. That's one of the possible outcomes of an election petition. There are only 2 or 3 outcomes of an election petition: rerun the election, change the winner, affirm the old announced winner. So there are 3 outcomes, like football: win, draw, and lose. So election petition, you go in, the winner could be changed. They could ask for a rerun in some parts of the country or the whole part, or they could affirm the declaration of the Electoral Commission. In both election petitions that we have had, the winner was affirmed. In the last one, it was a unanimous decision by the court. In the first one, it wasn't. And that is how come the court came to a conclusion so easily. And that's why it was unanimous, because the NDC had nothing. So if you come to court with nothing, it is very easy for the judges to dismiss the application. And that's what happened. And then once that happened, the same Aseidu Nketiah goes to tell President Mahama that they are cheating you. And then he tells his supporters, if I were his supporter, I'll be more outraged than the MPP people because I stood in the line in Abekan La Paz, in Nkwanta, in Gumpugu Yoyo, in Sunyane, in Tra, Kintampo, in Kranza, Kumasi, Ejoso, Kwamo. They stood all over the place, voted for President Mahama and the NDC candidate. All you needed to do was to tell them the quantum of their votes. Aseidu Nketiah couldn't do it. Fiifi Kwetey is promising us today that that will not happen again. Thank God. Thank heavens that will not happen again. But Aseidu Nketiah's caliber, either he must repent or we don't want his caliber in political leadership. It's disturbing our Fourth Republic. We don't want people like that. We want NDC, we want MPP, we want CPP, we want whichever party that can win. But we don't want the character of Aseidu Nketiah, which is to misrepresent very, very important facts and to joke with it. Go to court and, what do you have? My Lord, I don't have anything. Please play the video again. Play the video again, let them see it. Play the video again. Aseidu Nketiah in court. Play it again.
Our own calculations, what were the valid votes cast in favor of the petitioner, to your knowledge? My Lord, one would discover this discrepancy. It was difficult to even know. So you don't know, you just answer. You don't know. I don't have them there. Okay, then the last one. What figures from your own calculations did the second respondent get as the total valid votes cast in his favor? My Lord, I don't have those figures here. Thank you. That's what.
you heard Johnson Aseidu Nketiah. He said, I don't have them here. As if he has them somewhere. He should have told the court that, my lord, unfortunately, we don't have it. That will be truthful. But that will be wasting the court's time. He has sworn under oath. So I'd like to conclude this short narrative by emphasizing that knowing what I know of President Mahama, and I do know President Mahama even better than some of his own people, and that's a matter of fact. We can talk about that another day. But knowing what I know of President Mahama, he would never follow the NDC to court when he is sure that the NDC didn't have results. He would never do that. Johnson Aseidu Nketiah might have represented it to him, misrepresent, and is still misrepresenting. Till today, I said that's why John Mahama will support him for the national chairmanship. Because today, Johnson Aseidu Nketiah is still misrepresenting, telling John Mahama that you won the election. You won it. Look at Parliament. With the way Parliament was the same presidential, you won it. He doesn't tell John Mahama that in spite of all the money you paid for election 2020, I was not able to put a coalition together, which would have meant him dismissed. In fact, if I'm President Mahama, if you are President Mahama, a candidate for election where you could win, you are losing by marginally, you could win the election, you are former president, and your general secretary comes and tells you that, oh, Mr. President, I'm sorry, we couldn't do the results. We don't have the results. I'm sure you beat him up. If he stands in front of you 48 hours after the election, he comes and says, General Secretary, what do you have? Now, I've been in that kind of situation. In 2012, I think I was around President Mahama when he was being told that he had won the election. I've been with President Akufo-Addo. I've been with President Kufuor in 2001 when he was told. Now, in those days, 24 hours, 48 hours after the election and the counting is going on, you walk into the presidential candidate space. The first thing he's asking you is that, what do you have? And they get very brutal about that. If you've been with them, they get very brutal about it. They are different people because this is their life. This is what they've been campaigning for the last 6 months. Some of them, their health has taken a suffering on it. Their family is taking a suffering. And on the day, D-Day, you come in, where are the results? You put your hand and say, Mr. President, we didn't have it. Sometimes I sympathize with Aseidu Nketiah. Maybe there will be a strong temptation for you to lie. I mean, I can understand that. Because, Charlie, the guy has campaigned. He spent millions of dollars. Are you going to tell him that I didn't collate results? Not many people can do that. And not many people have that courage. I can understand it. So, I mean, when the man comes and said, I said, what do we have? You have to tell him that, oh, Mr. President, we won, but they are cheating us. MPP is stealing the thing. That's what he said. That's most likely what he said. I want President Mahama's photograph. That's most likely what he said. That's what he told President Mahama. That's what he said. Now, this is an interesting photograph. Yeah, so this is President Mahama here. You see how he's eager looking at the results. You see how eager he is checking out the, oh, what is this? You see how eager he is checking out the results? Yes, this is the kind of mood he will be in 48 hours after the process. And then Aseidu Nketiah comes to tell him that you have won the election. Because Aseidu Nketiah is not able to own up to President Mahama that, Mr. President, I faulted. Because he can't say sorry. That sorry is such an expensive sorry that if you deliver that sorry, you might end up with a slap. So nobody's going to say that in front of a presidential candidate. You can understand Aseidu Nketiah, but don't carry it on and carry on the whole nation and carry everybody to court, mislead everybody, and then 2 years down the line, you are blaming Ofosu Ampofo that you didn't have results. I'll end here. I sincerely believe that President Mahama is also now finding out. He's now finding out, like we are all finding out, that the people had misled him. Unfortunately, he has backed Aseidu Nketiah to be chairman of the party already. But fortunately, Fiifi Kwetey is saying that with him, that will not happen. I believe Fiifi Kwetey. I believe him. So we can believe that will not happen. But that kind of characterization, misrepresentation, the things that Aseidu Nketiah represents, we should eschew that from our political system. If we are serious as a country and want to go forward, this joking, laughing, and just dereliction of duty and just walking around as if you don't have a care in life when you're a leader of a political party and you need to have fidelity to data, you need to have fidelity to truth. You can't do that. And we don't want anybody to do that. Whether you're MPP or NDC, we don't want that in our Fourth Republic. Aseidu Nketiah is a canker to the Fourth Republic.